Sign up for free Stratfor Intelligence. Simply enter your email address to receive 2 free reports each week.
The Collective Security Treaty Organization, or CSTO, began its latest round of training exercises July 6th. The CSTO, which is a Russian-led multinational security alliance, has evolved since its creation from a loose and unorganized security bloc to one that has become larger and more institutionalized. But rather than serving as a competitor to NATO, which was the CSTO's initially stated goal, the bloc has become an avenue for Russia to increase its influence in its former Soviet periphery. The CSTO was created in 1992, shortly after the fall of the Soviet Union, as a means for Russia to continue its military relationship with many of its former Soviet states. The CSTO consists of mainly the more loyal former Soviet countries to Russia, including Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, which became a member in 2006. Though the CSTO was originally designed as a successor to the Warsaw Pact, from the early 90s to the mid-2000s, Russia was in a weak geopolitical position, and the CSTO served as little more than a political talk shop and held sporadic military exercises. But in the mid-2000s, Russia began a period of geopolitical resurgence, which culminated in the 2008 August War with Georgia. Using the momentum from this war, Russia revived its emphasis on the CSTO and created a new component to the military bloc in 2009. This was the Collective Rapid Reaction Force, which increased the number of troops in the security bloc from 1,500 to 16,000 and placed emphasis on things like fighting terrorism and drug trafficking. More importantly, this gave Russia the right to place its troops in other members of the CSTO's territory under the guise of this Rapid Reaction Force. Despite this increase in emphasis from Russia, the CSTO is not NATO and likely will never become the institutional answer to NATO. The security bloc has not conducted any operations outside of its own territory like NATO has, and Russia is by far the dominant decision-maker of the CSTO. Instead, it has become an avenue for Russia to increase its security, presence, and influence within the bloc. And the CSTO has also become useful in that it gives Russia a less aggressive and institutionalized way of responding to events within the CSTO. For instance, Russia used the security bloc as a platform to respond to the Kyrgyzstan ethnic riots in June 2010, rather than respond unilaterally and aggressively. This process of military cooperation and integration is meant to mitigate the security threats that Russia faces in its immediate neighborhood. Russia can then instead focus on taking on threats that present more pressing challenges, such as US BMD in Central Europe or NATO itself, something that Russia would do unilaterally rather than through the CSTO.